When I thought about this show and I thought about how I was going to present this show, there's a lot of things that I just want to get straight to the point to. Okay, the weirdos. All right, the case of the weirdos. Now, when you're in a city, you do have weird things like artists and creatives, people who wear certain style shoes and dances. Depending where you're at. You know, you have these type of creative, because that's what weird was. It was about being creative. It was about being spontaneous. It was about being something unique. That was a weirdo. That's what made you not a weirdo, but that's what made you a weird person. Weirdo came later, and then the term weirdo became an insult, right? Because as inner city people, you have to understand that it's called the inner city for a reason. You are in a portal of your own world, and it never leaves you. It never leaves you if you don't allow it to. You feel me? And so I am here to talk to you about how do you avoid weirdos? How do you really avoid them? Because I'm going to tell you, they are amongst us more than what you know. And I hate that I have to use this term, but I need you to understand how you can spot them and how you can move on to your life from this. You got me? So how you do this? Number one, you have to look at things all the way around. Okay? And this is definitely for my young listeners out there. That's all my people 35 and under. That's all my young listeners, right? Listen, you have to look at people all the way around. Okay? So that means that when you take interest in anybody, me or anybody, take interest. I tell y'all all the time, I'm just a vessel. Okay? I'm out there. You can see who I am. I it ain't nothing. Like, it ain't nothing. I'm just a vessel. What you do is you first make sure you observe that person all the way through. And I want you to also observe something too. Observe yourself, observe your energy, observe what you're going through. Observe, watch your own depression, be mindful. Let me say the word, be mindful of your own depression, be mindful of your own things that you've experienced in your life that may have caused you know you to end up resonating with certain type of people. Okay, if you find yourself energetically attracting people who are not you know unique as far as like artists and creatives and shit like that, but you're really starting to attract real true weirdos in your life, you're going to have to recalibrate. You're going to have to look around yourself. You're going to have to look around what what you're doing in your life, because this all comes into your own energy. This all comes into self-preservation and self-realization, right? And so when you sit here and I'm going to teach you something so you will not make the same mistakes that I have made. I'm going to tell you how I made these mistakes. And from how I tell you that I made these mistakes, it's going to show you how you do not make the same mistakes. Okay. So, anyway, she is probably at work. She's like, girl, okay, it's early. So, keep your standards. Do not bend your standards. Keep your standards. Do not bend your standards. If your standards is that you only like to deal with people who are intellectual, who are avid book readers, who are uh how do I say it? Who are people that are fit, meaning they take care of their body. Okay, you get where I'm going? Be around people who are truly spiritual people and they live it, and you can see that they live it, right? But that's up for discussion, right? Or that's debatable, right? However you perceive it, don't fold in that. You listen to rock music, you like to be around other Afro punky people, don't fold in that. Okay? You go around and you like, not like, but your frequency is on the wave of being a painter, or you're creating your own deck or your own oracle deck, and you like to watch other people. Don't fold in that. Here's why. You're going to find yourself in a space of disappointment if you fold, or if you bend, not fold, but if you bend in who you are. And this is where you attract weirdo behavior. This is where you can attract the copycat behavior. And this is where you can attract people who want your energy, even if they don't like you. Okay? Now, I tell my oracles in the Patreon this all the time. Oracles have to be the ones to really be mindful of who and what their energy is, and really be mindful of what type of energy they radiate when they walk into a room. So, like today, I had to go handle some business, and I was thinking some things in my mind like, I got to get this done. I don't want to keep having. I don't want to continue like this, but I have to go in this building and do what I got to do. And so I did not sit in the waiting room. I did not. My energy was like, I saw it was one of those shows on the TV about someone violating a child. And I was like, nope. I walked out. I didn't want to be around it. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't have my headphones on. And so I was standing around until they called me, my number at least. Then I had to sit down before my name was called, right? And so while I was waiting for my name to be called, I kind of just toned out the room. I was like, damn, I wish I had my headphones. I kind of just tuned out the room and hopped on my phone a little bit, right? And it wasn't long. It wasn't even 5 minutes before my name was called, right? And so my name was called, handle business, I was out of there. But the main point was my energy, I kind of just cloaked it a bit. I wasn't rude. I said, excuse me. I wasn't like that. It's just kind of just cloaked it, right? Because when you have a certain type of energy as an oracle, when you go into certain spaces, you're going to get people who do weird shit to you, right? And you have to check them. Like, they're going to bump into you. They're going to look at you funny. They're going to say something. These things can happen. So you have to be on your P's and Q's from this happening. Now, when you are also in your own frequency, and if you bend to other people's frequency, this is why you cannot bend on the frequency that you are. Okay. What happens is you may still think that, and this happens a lot in the Black community, and I want Black people to hear me out on this. When you are a Black alternative person, remain a Black alternative. Stay like, don't bend. If you don't like hip hop, R&B, I like lyrical. If I hear some lyrical ass hip hop, a certain type of hip hop, then I will listen to it. But it's not something that you will hear me just blasting in my house like that. Won't happen. Okay. So if you have a certain way of that you live, you have to lean into who you are. Okay. So if you have somebody or somewhere and this person you're around, they play a certain type of music, you gotta put yourself in a space where you're not around that. You have to build the space where you get away from all of that. Okay? Because it's a frequency that you don't want to deal with. Also, you have to also understand that leaning in who you are means that there's going to come a certain lifestyle with leaning into who you are, even if you have a 9 to 5, by leaning into who you are. And so here is it. And I'm going to tell you, you are going to get betrayed every time you bend. And that is how the weirdos come into your life. Okay? I don't give a damn what your path is, spiritual or not. I think more if you're spiritual, you're gonna really have to guard yourself up. But when you bend, that's how the weirdos slip into your life. I'm serious. When you sit here and you are not being strict and taking yourself serious, this is what's going to happen to you. See, a lot of out of towners, they play a lot, they joke a lot, everything's funny, everything's kick and giggles. They make mockery of us from the inner city who takes ourselves very, very serious, as we should. You have to look at everything 360 when it comes to people. You have to circle it around. Today, I saw this guy's page, and something in me, I felt some way. And I was like, I got art just like this, right? I literally was like, I got art just like this, but I know that artistic style because I did that artistic style on my Photoshop, and I actually have that artistic style right now. Like, it's funny, I literally have that artistic style in one of my pieces because I've been finding all of my pieces. And so while I was looking at this artistic style, I just got this feeling over me. And I was just like, this motherfucker copy somebody? Like, I just got this feeling over me. And so I don't let these inkling and the little feelings like that leave me. Because what's going to happen is, let's say I still followed that person. Some weird interaction, behavior would have happened. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you never know, first of all, who's watching you. What is that beeping going on? Y'all hear that notification? I don't know what that is. You never know who's watching you. You never know who knows who you are. And the fact that I looked at his name and I was like, damn, this sounds so familiar. This person's name just sounds so familiar, right? But then I got the feeling of, this work is copied from somewhere, and this is not, it just didn't feel originally from them, if you get what I'm saying. You don't let those type of feelings go. You don't let those feelings go. And so therefore, you keep you keep you keep that. I should have put this as Divine Feminine School Part 3. I really should have. I thought about it, but because of the topic, I had to put it in the psyche of inner city versus out of towners. I didn't let that shake me when I saw this artwork. And it made me think about what I'm talking about now, because I was already waking up thinking about this topic. And what is also about this weirdo epidemic, or this thing that feels weird, I'm going to tell you exactly why it feels weird. Hear me out. When you are public especially when you've been public a long time. Hear me out very closely. I don't give a damn if you never showed your face. You don't know who is watching you. You don't know if that person has been around you because they're weird like that. You don't know who probably was low key inspired by your work, because people can be inspired by your work and resent you at the same time. That happens. When you get these weird feelings off of people that you can't, like, you don't know what, because sometimes that happens. Even the psychics, we get these weird feelings and we don't know what. That's enough to say no. Do you see what I'm saying? The inkling of a feeling is like, block this person. You got to do it. Don't block somebody. And like I said, because I had liked the person they were with, and I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to you. Don't ever do that. Don't ever talk, negotiate nothing. When you block somebody, you just block them. Because you're going to end up blocking them again. There's a reason you block them. You're going to really find out the reason why you blocked them. And you got to not shake that feeling. It don't matter. Just follow that block button. Block them. The weird feeling you get also is the feeling of envy and jealousy can be very weird. The feeling of gossip can be very weird. The feeling of people who are putting on a face that's not their face, that you feel that weird energy from. And also you can feel that energy because maybe you can pick up that they're a deviant behind the scenes. You see what I'm saying? And you have to go by that feeling as well. You see? Because it doesn't necessarily mean an attack on you. It could just be you be like, something ain't right with this person. If you've experienced, I'm going to stand and tell you this, and I'm never wrong when I say this. If you experience a space where it feels like you are constantly being attacked, somebody around you really despises you. And they want to see you crumble. They want to see you break. When you find yourself in a space where people are, how do I say it? Where people are, you don't know what's going on. It seems like they always got attitudes or they coming for you. Somebody around you really does not like you and they're really angry and they're not showing it, but it's coming through the people around you. And also, it's a frequency thing of telling you to get the fuck away. Because you may be above who you're around and you may not know that you are so above them. You see what I'm saying? And so that is another thing to also consider when understanding how energy works and that weird energy you get from people. I have decided that I am going to get on another streaming app, and I'm going to rebrand on that streaming app, and I'm going to rebuild myself again from the last one. And I even have said I'm going to build the business plan when I get on the next streaming app, like how I'm going to stream, what my stream's going to be like, what kind of people I'm going to network with, and how I'm going to take the stream and even record it and put it on my socials, because I'm going to take my streaming life a lot more serious than before. So I'm going to find a good streaming app to go on and do that. But I have a plan. And that's due to my experiences of how to run a streaming app and to have my business plan laid out. And if there's opportunities to build a group or a family or whatever that case is, I'm going to run it for myself. Now, these are little things that can be what you do and how you start and how you manifest for whatever it is that you do. But as long as you have a plan and you stick to that plan, I'm going to tell you right now, people who look a certain type of way does matter. When you tell me you are from New York City and you tell me what part of New York City you are from, I expect to see a certain style from you. Okay? If I don't see a certain style from you, then you are not fully from New York City. Okay? You are not fully from New York City. If I don't see uh, just a certain way in which you socialize, that tells me that you are not from the city, or at least you don't get out. And these are the little intricate things that I do, and you have to build that for yourself, or wherever it is that you're from, wherever you're from. I literally just unfollowed a lot of people on my Instagram because I was like, my Instagram is flooded. My Instagram is flooded, and this ain't it. I can't be following these kind of people on my Instagram, right? And so what happened is I sat here on my Instagram, right? And my energy felt better. And even as my energy felt better and I was doing what I was doing, right? What happened was I started to see what my algorithm is. You know what I'm saying? I started to see what my algorithm is. And so the thing is, when I began to start seeing what my algorithm was, it made me start tightening up basically how I run my socials. You get me? And so when I started tightening up how I run my socials, what happened was it turned into a thing where I started to realize the importance of running my social media and making social connections from my social media and who I connect myself to. What also made me build my quality is because I looked at my manager and I saw his performance, and I was like, oh wow, he's out there doing his thing and this, that, and the third. And so all of this stuff that I got going on makes me build up my quality and my self-worth. And so because of that, I need y'all to hear me out very closely what I'm going to tell you, okay? Excuse me. What I'm going to tell you, okay? And what I'm telling you is that the weirdo is going to be out there and there's nothing you can do about it. But there is something you can do about it, and that word is called absolute boundaries. Not being paranoid, not being afraid, boundaries. Now I'm going to tell you something that is going to get uncomfortable, but this is an analysis of what I talk about with weirdos and people. And I'm trying hard not to call, or name drop people, because we're going to start here. When you find yourself that you're going to get on somebody's platform, rule number one, let me write this down. Watch your associations. Do you hear me? Let's put that on the board. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. Watch your associations. Okay? That includes panels, people who you follow. Can't really control who follow you back. You can't control who follows you, but you control who you follow back. People who you follow, and that entails even your associations outside of social media. Okay? So watch your associations. Panels can ruin reputations. Panels can ruin reputations. Let's write that down. We're going to put that under. I'm going to dash that. Where my dash button at? If we still at 1. Panels can ruin reputations. If you are associating with people on certain type of panels, even your presence of being there can it can ruin your reputation, because it deals with your associations, because that's a part of who you follow. That's a part of your frequency. Even if you're there for entertainment, see, that's why I said watch what you entertain. That's the next one. Watch what you entertain. See, you go, this is for my entertainment. But that entertainment can still ruin. I said that. Watch what you simply entertainment. You know what I mean? Your entertainment could be your ruin. You entertaining that show, or you just chilling on a panel, or you just chilling in the chat room, even if you're in that chat room and you saying, oh, what's up, banana bread? Oh, what up, banana bread? Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, I saw you the other day at the corner store buying your favorite Snickers. You're always buying Snickers. Something as simple as that, that's a personal conversation, can be the very thing that can be a part of your rep. Because it looks like if you parlaying with people in a room, I mean, even if you parlaying with people in the room, such as like banana bread, and then somebody sees that, you get what I'm saying? It turns into you still are associated with this panel. You're still associated with these people. You're still associated with this show, this podcast. So it still goes against you. Mind your chat room etiquette. It should be a book. Mind your chat room etiquette. What that means is it goes into watch who you simply entertain, because we're not done with that. What you simply entertain, you're going to get entertained back by weirdos. And I'm going to tell you how that happens. Because panels can ruin your reputation, right? But also watch who you entertain, because that's a part of panels. Let me tell you something. I had once was on a show with this woman who was not the most likable person, if liked at all. And I shouldn't even have been over there, but for some reason, she just knocked down my papers. I was over there. Okay. The hell is this? And so I was over there, excuse me, headphone users, and what happened is I went into another person's panel, and that person was like, hey, what time does such and such show come on? And I'm like, huh? Why are you bothering me about that show and I'm over here on this show? And the reason little things like that can happen to you is because there are people, again, going into weirdo behavior. They're horrible people. Trolls are horrible people, okay? I don't care what nobody say. Trolls are horrible people. They're horrible people. Okay? Horrible people. And because they are such horrible people, no one wants them around. No one likes them. No one wants to see them coming because they're so horrible. All right? Now, this ties into mind your chat room etiquette. Okay? Mind your chat room etiquette. All right? What does that mean? Mind your chat room etiquette, right? Means that excuse me. Mind your chat room etiquette means that when you go into a chat room with somebody else, you need to be mindful of how you interact in that chat room. Are you interacting in an intellectual manner? Are you interacting in a manner that entails you're participating in the room? Are you being a weirdo yourself? Are you playing around? Are you, what's the word? Are you being an asshole? Are you being messy? Mind your chat room etiquette. Okay? Mind your chat room etiquette. Oh, that's cool. Make sure you know you the superstar, so you gotta make sure you get everybody they shit today. All right? Yes, ma'am. Big shout out to you. Can you hear me? I can tell you real quick about that shuffle. Because I try to get in when I can to talk to you. I can tell you real quick about that shuffle. Because that shuffle has a lot to do with why I'm talking about what I'm talking about today. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about it. What happens to why I am starting this list with you and having this conversation with you is because I have been very, very attacked by a lot of weirdos. I've had a lot of weirdos come for me very hard. And I understand why now, because when you are a black person, a black woman, I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there. When you are a black woman and you are speaking high levels of spiritual practice and spirituality at an occult or esoteric level, and you are good at your shit, I mean, you are good, and you have your own mind, you are a triple fucking threat. You are a threat to the betters, the simps, the pick-meshas, and the mammies. Okay? When you are very gifted at what you do, and we all know that talent takes work, creativity takes work. You are going and you can interpret what type of art you write and write from that space. You are a threat. Okay? I want you all to understand that. And when you have wisdom like that, you become a threat to these weirdos. And it's how does she do it? How does she, because that's what it's about. Where does she get that from? Where does she get all this stuff from? Where does she write that from? And that's where the weird behavior comes in at, because they can't resonate at that level with you. But that's not who you're for. And also, your frequency becomes at a very high frequency when you have that level of intelligence. This is what I had to learn. The cards I pulled because of a dream I had, and I had a particular dream of somebody, and he was a director, and he was directing something, and I was there. And I believe, if I recall correctly, I was a part of the project. I wasn't, he wasn't alone. It's not like I was standing by watching him. I was a part of whatever project he was doing. He was doing the directing, and there was a part where him and I were texting each other, but the texts were pretty vague. It was how you doing? How you been? Type of text. And where you going today? You going out? Like, the text was like that. Very, very vague text. And the chat room was pretty colorful too. It was a colorful chat room. But the texts were very vague and simple towards each other. He was texting more than I was texting. And so when I had said, what is the spiritual message in this dream? What is the entire spiritual message of what I was dreaming about? The card that came out, let me recall the cards right now. It was the cards that flipped over was the Tower and the Page of Wands, right? And then the cards that I end up flipping in order from those two cards, the first one was the Seven of Wands. The next one was the Five of Swords, right? So it's the Seven of Wands, Five of Swords, Tower, and Page of Wands. Was there a Hangman? No, that card came up later. Okay, so those are the main cards that had pulled up. And the Tower was the first card. Like I said, the Page of Wands flipped over with the Tower. Now, this is going to be some lessons, some tarot lessons. So with the Tower card is about changes, transformations. The Tower it's not so much about changes and transformations. Like, it is, but it's more like it's going to be things that you can't control. Like, it's going to happen. And I remember when I pulled it further, I got the Queen of Swords and the Hierophant. I was like, "Ooh, these are some powerful ass cards." And so I went to look at the other two cards, the Seven of Wands and the Five of Swords. In the Seven of Wands, he is fighting his ass off, and the Five of Swords is fighting his ass off too. What's interesting about the two cards is the Seven of Wands is more of a fight over, it's spiritual, because it's a wand, it's a blunt object. So, it's a spiritual fight, but it's also over things, like, because he's standing on top of a mountain. It's over property, it's over ownership, it's over what he has built, right? And so, from what the whatever he built from the Five of Wands, he's fighting for it as the Seven of Wands, okay? And then when he gets to the Nine of Wands, that's the wounded warrior. That's all the fights, like ready for whatever. That's why all the wands are sitting upright. You see what I'm saying? From the other part. And so the Five of Swords is more of a mental battle, because the sword is the air element, and the wands is more of a fire element. And so there's a spiritual and a mental battle that's going on with this Tower, right? And that's what this was all about. And remember, the dream was this person. He was a director, and I was working beside him while he was directing whatever I was doing. And then we had each other's number because we were texting each other, and the text message were very vague. But we'll get to all that in a minute. So then, as I was shuffling and just getting to the basics of those cards, right, it made me think about what I'm saying right now as the Queen of Wands, as the Queen of Swords, in the Hierophant, because under the deck was the High Priestess. No, excuse me. Under that particular deck was the Nine of Wands. Interesting, I brought that up, right? It was the Nine of Wands under that deck, and I didn't look at the other cards. And so it sums it all up, right? And of course, there was an Eight of Swords pulled in that spread too. When I think about it, I think the Eight of Swords actually came out twice in that spread as well. Came out 2 times, right? And the Eight of Swords, I have learned it to be, check this out, Bob, right? I call that the Calypso being in the cage card, right? because this woman is captured, kidnapped, tied up, and a bunch of tall swords is put around her, right? And in the after tarot deck, someone is releasing her. That's the card. I pulled both those cards, and so a man is coming and he's releasing her, right? So that made me think about everything with myself. When you are a woman in this position, you need to understand, for my oracles, right? When you have this level of esoteric information in your hands, because you are a woman, you are going to receive that information at a depth that man cannot touch. Okay? You need to understand that. That's why I could do the artwork, and the artwork is not just artwork on my wall. I have something written with that artwork, that art piece. When I sketch something, it's not just a sketch. I write an entire short story to what I've sketched. You see? There's something you add to what is as the receiver, as the feminine energy in the universe. And when you hold that level of frequency, you got to understand a lot of people cannot handle that energy with you. A lot of people who are oracles, you try to dress yourself down, haven't you? It didn't work. You tried to blend in with everybody. It didn't work. So either way, how you wore your hair, how you dressed, what you did, you still never energetically blended in with nobody. And when you spoke up about something or anything, everybody gives you that look, right? Like that shocking look that it came out your mouth every fucking time, right? It never fails. Because you hold a frequency that everybody can't handle. I've learned in this, and I talk to my oracles all the time about this in the Patreon. What you have to learn in that frequency is that you gonna have to get past your ego, and you may have to remove yourself. Now, I'm not saying I think Flo got self pretty well in the work world, because in the work world you could chit chat, you keep your distance, but sometimes it's not always easy depending on what job you have. I also noticed that we should work very distant jobs, something where it's fast and we don't have time for interaction, and somewhere where it just like it always keeps us busy. Either keeps us busy or we don't have much people around us, where we're a little isolated. That's what I've really learned now about people like myself and how we have to work. And so with that, what I have also seen is that when you begin to understand the power that you hold, and this is a reading that was something to myself, and I'm speaking to you all as well. The battle is that these weirdos do not appreciate intelligence and education. Let's just get that out the way, okay? That's why I encourage, if you are the American as myself, where you do have like a piece of that immigrant background, you have an intelligence about you that Americans don't have. Okay? It does not matter if you were born in this country and you still have a family member that has an immigrant background. You don't have an intelligence like American people. I don't give a damn what nobody tell you. And you know it for yourself. You're drawn to things spiritual and deep. You're drawn to spiritual practices of higher than, Jesus is my savior. You're just so much more than that. Your spirit is much more than that. And these people cannot handle that. What you have to stay focused on is you don't let people in. You don't allow people to get close to you, no matter how close they try to get. Okay? As a creative, I'm talking to my creatives, my social creators, my artists, and all this type of stuff. You keep everything business. Everything is business with you. Everything is what you benefit. Business don't always mean you have to always be getting money off something. It's what you benefit. Also, I need you to hear me very tightly when I tell you this part. These people ain't worth it. They're walking around here. I'm spiritually telling you what's going on. They're walking around here trying to be what they are not because they don't live what we live as inner city people. We live something different. We're spiritually something different. Okay? We don't operate as others. And they know that. We don't operate spiritually as them. And they know that. And they're jealous of that. When you go into certain places, there's certain frequencies that become a part of the place in which you are. This place, people are very defeated. People give up. They don't believe in their dreams no more. Their dreams have died. That's crazy. Their dreams have died. And so they don't like to see people have dreams. This is not the first place I've felt this energy before. When I was in New York City, I've experienced feeling this before. Okay? But you have to just fight and lean into yourself a lot more, whatever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing with your life. Another key thing that is very ultimately key is that when you surround yourself as yourself, be very happy. When you surround yourself as yourself, my mic check, mic check, mic check. Is it back? Mic check, mic check. I'm not seeing nothing move. Can I get a 1? Can y'all hear me? Check. It's not moving. What happened to my microphone? Did something pull up? Did something pull out of my microphone? Mic check. Hello? Mic check, mic check. 1 second, y'all. I need to check my microphone. My music is going, is it? He said, I hear you loud and clear. Hold on, y'all. Something froze. Because I realized my music not playing. I don't hear my music no more. Oh, did it come in the output? Hold on. Hold on, y'all. That's the output. MacBook Pro built-in speaker. What happened? One second, y'all. Fixing my microphone. Okay. To refresh because I can't. Okay, here we go. Mic check. The fuck was that? Why my music not playing? Hold on. I'm getting. I'm feeling some type of way. I don't hear my music. I just realized my music wasn't playing. All right, let's get back to it. All right. So as I was saying, a lot of these people, when you come from the inner city, they know that. And I've felt this frequency of for people who give up, people who don't want like. But I remember where I lived at. It was a lot of out of town people out there. Understand something, okay? When it you have to watch your frequency in a 360 degrees position. Okay? You have to be mindful of what you are out here doing when you are building something for yourself. I'm speaking this to you from experience. All right? Now, I'm going to get into detail I was before, and we're going to still jump back into that reading, right? About how panels can ruin your reputation, how you need to watch what you entertain, and how you need to have mind your chat room etiquette, right? Let's get back into it. So I once was on the panels with those divestors, right? And we got to call it what it is. Those bitches are weird. They're all out of towners and they're weird. And when it was a black woman who actually spoke truth about interracially dating, who actually spoke truth to black women about a lot of spiritual things, who actually spoke a lot of truth, who actually was very raw and real about her life and what was going on in her life and coming from foster care, they all shunned her. They all shunned her in the most worst way. And all those people from out of town, and where was she from? New York City, Brooklyn at that. Then you have people, let's just call it what it is, people. Y'all may not like to hear this, but I'm going to tell you this. In order to be taken serious as your brand for any type of podcasting, any type of anything like this, you're eventually going to have to show your face. Okay? I'm not trying to give nobody no ideas. I'm just telling you the truth of what I see. You're going to have to, you can just have a signature ass picture of yourself. That picture you see on my social is my signature ass picture of myself. Literally. Signature picture. My hair don't even look like that no more. My hair does not look like that anymore. For those who've actually seen me. And so therefore, because it's a part of the archetype of what you do. So signature as picture of yourself, signature as avatar of yourself. But when you really want to be taken serious in the work that you do when it comes to this format of it, people need to see your face. Excuse me. People need to see that you have a face. When you are hiding and cloaking yourself behind a microphone, you're not nothing to take serious. Bring me the hot dog out the air fryer, by the way. That's fine. Bring me the hot dog out the fridge. Thank you. Out the air fryer. I gotta clean that thing out. My jerk season is still in that bitch. That's why it's spicy. So if you make anything in there, you probably gonna have to make anything on the stove. Just let me know. Open it. Just pull it. There you go. No. Oh, be careful. I know it's gonna be the whole thing to me. Oh, I was telling you. Thank you, baby. Excuse me, y'all. I still got my jerk seasoning in my air fryer, bro. My hot dog tastes like a damn, it's spicy. I got a jerk hot dog. So anyway, when you don't show your face, right? You're not to be taken serious. You're not to be taken serious. And a lot of people argue that. A lot of people argue that. My thing is this. If you're going to care about your career, if you're going to care about all that shit, then don't get on the microphone. This is the world's stage. You don't have to physically be there, but you're there. This is the world stage. And energetically, when you decide to put yourself in this space, this is what you are on the world stage. And every person that's behind the curtain, if you don't understand the archetype of storytelling, if you don't understand the archetype of how the universal storytelling goes, everybody behind the stage or behind the curtain eventually what gets revealed? So doxing is going to happen either way. Yeah, that's real talk right there. And so don't get on the microphone. Don't get on the world stage. Okay? Because then you're just a troll. That's what you are. You're just a troll. And you're nothing to be taken serious. And that's why people go through what they go through. See, these weirdos, excuse me, y'all. Weirdos get off on doxing people because it's a part of trying to stop people from what they do. They get off on trying to expose and dox people because a lot of them, their lives is really fucked up. That's what it's all about. Also understand there are people that completely hate women. Let's not forget that part. And when you are a woman who is displaying ascended woman behavior, you are an ascended divine feminine woman, you are the divine muse, you will get hate from those type of people. So you have to understand what's going on with that. So when you start understand what's going on inside of that, you will stay clear and you will go higher. I have an artist I follow, and I actually went through his follow list to see who he followed. And I was like, let me study the caliber of people in which he follows, because his follow list is very tight. And so that was how I learned how to measure who I follow. I'm not perfect, but still. Okay? Also, I also have learned too that you must keep at what you do, because there are beautiful things that's going to happen for you when you keep at what you do. Let's get back to that tarot reading that I did. You good, Rissa? All right. Let's get back to the tower. Tower flipped over and the page of wands flipped over. The page of wands is, every page is the very epitome of what that elemental card is. Like, it's the pure energy of fire, the pure energy of water, the pure energy of earth, the pure energy of air. That's what the page represents. So a page of wands is the pure energy of the wands, the fire, the manifestation energy, the creative energy, right? There's going to be something ground shaking in that realm for me, right? But there was a higher message around it with the seven of swords, the eight of swords, the five of swords, and all of that there, right? I have been somebody. This is who you're talking to. I have been somebody who have been put in the eight of swords in my life. Literally, I have been Calypso, who has been captured, who has been literally put in a spiritual jar with my children, and who has been blindfolded and put in the wild around swords and having to fend for myself and having to fend myself out of that. That's literally the story of my life. And I'm here to tell you how it all happened to me and how it happens to many people when you're not careful. And I'm here for you also to understand why I speak from my diaphragm into the microphone the way that I do about the dark topics that I speak about, especially in that Patreon. And yes, I talk for a long time because I have a lot to say. I'm a very quiet person in real life. I observe and I take in a lot and I write a lot. And I've been too damn quiet, if you ask me. It's time for me to start using my voice. And then on top of that, I have watched what has happened to others. And I have watched people succeed from what has happened to them. And I watch people get it too late. And the number one lesson I learned, that seven of wands and that five of swords was my battle with those fucking weirdos. And weirdos being around me and weirdos making me look like a weirdo just as weird as them. But I'm a creative, eclectic type of weird person. But I can't even use the word no more because I'm not a weirdo. It was my associations. It was me on those panels. Me thinking I'm just entertaining myself. Me not minding how I carry myself in the chat room. And all of these different things because of out of town motherfuckers. When you are meeting somebody, and listen, I actually encourage you not to, but when you're meeting somebody from your social platform and they begin to talk to you about their personal life and it does not have nothing to do with art, film, whatever it is the fuck that you do, hang them the fuck up. But I'm here to tell you, this is how you identify it before you even get there with them. You observe, you watch, you analyze. And you also learn things as you go along to understand how people conduct themselves when they are people of part of what they claim to be a part of. If someone is saying that they're hosting a show and they're around celebrities, but they're acting like a buffoon, you need to see the celebrities that they're around, because that means them celebrities that they're associated with are buffoons too. If somebody is saying that they live their life a certain type of way where they are, it don't matter if they're on TV or whatever, why the fuck are they conducting themselves in this weird way on this platform over here? That's somebody who does not take themselves and what they do serious. And so therefore, you should never take them serious even when they say that they are. And my favorite one, my favorite one. Watch how people get treated when they go outside. Watch how they get that camera and they talk to everybody, and how everybody responds to them, who's rude to them, who actually talks back to them. Yeah, yeah, that tells you a lot about people. That tells you a lot. I watched that same woman go outside. It's not like it's like she didn't blend in with people. It's like she criticized people. She didn't know how to be appropriate in the room with other people. When she was on TV, she was carrying on. And you gotta pay attention to shit like that. You gotta pay attention to shit like that. And it's those little intricate details that I missed. I saw them, but I missed them. I had people around me whose lives were completely fucked up. And so they would get online and act, they would just be so weird, calling me while I'm going live. The people around them didn't want to talk to them. Well, this person right here, look how they responded when I came into the room. Pay attention to how people treat them outside of themselves. Look how they responded when I came into the room. Look how she responded. Yeah, I don't blame her for responding like that. Something's not right with you. Something, she knows you on a personal level. And a lot of these people, they do be weird. I'm gonna tell you from the top of the motherfucking mountain. They be weird and their lives be weird. Now, let's keep going. I wish you guys had some questions for me. I got you. Number two. You ready for this one? Observe and analyze everyone with pen and paper. Yes, I did. Yes, I said that. Yes, I said that. Observe and analyze everyone with pen and paper. Pen and paper does not mean that you necessarily have to physically have a pen and paper. Pen is the air element. That's the observing, and the paper is the earth element, the tree, the analyzing. Do you get it? And so therefore, that is how you observe everybody around you. And you don't have a problem with people pen and paper observing and analyzing you either. The first thing you observing is the motherfucking environment. I should put MF in environment. The first thing you observe in pen and paper is the environment. The environment involves social media, whatever platform that they're on and what they're doing, what kind of people they have around them in that environment. It's like as if you're walking into their home. What you see on the front porch, that's the bio. That's the door. And then when you go inside, that's the pictures you see when you scroll down. That's your environment. Do I need to show y'all some examples? I don't want to offend nobody though. I don't want to offend nobody. So I'm gonna have to get somebody that's an actual artist. Alright. I I pulled up a page, but you go into the environment. We're gonna use the example I always use, the divestors, because y'all on this panel, y'all know that environment a little bit more. So I'm gonna use that one. Okay. You go into the divested environment, the chat room is packed. That's the first thing you notice. It's a packed chat room. And a lot of laughing, and jokes going on in the panel. In the chat room. And then the panel, first of all, let's look at the titles. They be saying stuff that I don't know what it is about them, but the people in the divested world, like, their type of comedy is just, it's awkward. It's quiet. That's quiet. That's another way of saying awkward where I'm from. All right. It's quiet. And so, therefore, they say stuff like clean gong head and beluga well. And I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them are actually funny, but they say things like that. Hair-headed hooligan. They have these different ways of how they make their comedy. And then you get over there and they begin to talk and you begin to question, huh? Right? You be going, huh? And so you have to check where you are in your life. See, when I was going through what I was going through, I entertained that type of shit. And I'm gonna give y'all a sidebar. When I was depressed over my grandmama's death, I entertained stuff like that. Somebody bought me to entertain that type of shit. And so that's where you got to be careful and watch what you simply entertain, going back to associations. So the environment, you get in there and it's all this comedy and they run a panel because, see, the divestors, they wised up. They started getting professional. They started keeping the same type of panel and people. They started to have real discussions, and while still doing their comedy. They wised up, the zealot divested people, right? But we talk about the whole divested world in general. And when they get up there, they spend majority of their time going back and forth with people and strangers online. Let me tell you something. When you observe and analyze everyone pen and paper, you are going to have a list of red flags as well as green. And because it's a paper of observation and analysis, and it's not the universe, don't give me this, don't give me that, I don't like, you're not doing that. You are professionally building something for yourself to say yay and nay to people. Okay? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. When you get into the environment of these divestors, it gets weird because here's the thing that I danced around with. And I've been on those panels and I've cut a fool on those panels, but a lot of the stuff is gone unless people kept it or something, or my name is like, it don't even matter no more. But I've been on those panels and I've cut a fool on those panels because I didn't take those people serious. Nor did I, like, at that time of my life, I definitely didn't take myself because of what I was going through. And luckily, I'm good because Nobody cares about those people and what they got going on like that. Even though you see all those views, people are just taking what they people are aiming for the main people. They don't give a fuck about anybody else. I'm telling you. They're aiming for the main people. They're gunning for them. Okay? That's why they all had to run behind the wall the way that they did. And so what happened is uh the environment of these spaces is toxic. It's gossipy, which is toxic. It's very judgmental and ignorant, toxic. They don't really get out. They don't touch grass, toxic, not intelligent. No matter how intelligent it seems to be, this is out of town people once again. All of them out of town people once again. This is their out of town people behavior once again. It's the same pattern. I've been telling you this. And so in that environment, you will get betrayed quickly, instantaneously. The moment they perceive you to be as this, that, or whatever, without even asking you, you will just get doxxed, or they will try to come after you, the mean girls, and try to shame you or whatever, and harass you and send subliminals and shit to you. Toxic and weird, because these people, after all these years, still have never shown a face. She'll have never taken the panel to a place that is an actual discussion of the importance of Black women divesting from Black males. And the reason why you're not going to have that is because they can't. It ain't got nothing to do with their career, because they can't. If they work in the medical career, then they have the information and factual information to say, hey, here are the medical reports of etc. of these diseases that Black women get, as opposed to this and that. Then people will understand why they're passionate about saying what they're saying, whether they agree with it. Then on top of that, then on top of that, then on top of that, you gotta understand too that when you have been building yourself, and I'm speaking for myself here, you got a lot to lose. You hear me? When you've been brand building for yourself and shit, you got a lot to lose, my love. When you've been doing stuff a lot for you, you got a lot to lose. That goes into your self-worth. Once you know you have self-worth, once you know what you're worth, you have a lot to lose. When I sit here and I look at all the work I've done, look at my artwork, like I have tons and tons of artwork here. I'm like, I have a lot to lose. It's time to store this stuff up, pack it up, put it on the wall. I got a lot to lose. Then it comes to something else. What is that something else? The something else is that you're different when you're an inner city person. Your frequency can't live like these people. You can't kick kicks and giggles and laugh all day and clown about that corny ass shit all day like them. You build something different. I build something different. That's why the Seven of Wands and the Five of Swords came out. That's fighting for yourself on a mental and spiritual level. That's a fight. And so, therefore, these toxic people and their environments, if you engage in these environments, you will become a part of that environment. When I was on that app, I ended up buying liquor. When I was on that app, I ended up smoking more. Until I got tired at the end, the top of the year, I didn't want nothing to do with none of that shit. Until the top of the year, I said, no more. I can't drink, I can't smoke, I can't do this shit no more. That was the top of the year. Cut liquor out. I think I had wine a month ago. That's fine. I was gonna even join the Moscato Club. Nah. Them lushes on there. Them goddamn lushes on there. We not doing that. We not doing that. I'm good. Okay? You can't do it as an inner city person. When you are given these messages that are working through you, when you're doing your magic and you are getting messages that are working through you, you ought to take that serious. When you have these spiritual gifts, you ought to take it serious. When you go out here and you attract certain people and artists and creatives out there, you ought to take it serious. It is all with reason in your life, whatever your life is. You ought to take it serious. And you ought to get your shit together, your self-esteem together, and get over it. And heal through that shit. That's what you are supposed to do as an inner city person on this path. You are born next to wealth. You are in a frequency of people who are wealthy. People who are successful in the world of Hollywood, in the world of all of these things. You get to see, you get a glimpse as an inner city person of what it takes to get to that 1 million. You get a glimpse of what it takes. You get proximity to wealthy non-black people. The fashion industry. You as an inner city person has big city dreams. It's in you at birth. And a lot of these out of towners, they don't make it. They can't make it. They could never make it. They don't have that frequency in them to make it. And that's what you need to understand is the real issue. You know how to work a job and work for yourself. You know how to get online and say, hey, let me take my little $100 and start this little store, or let me get a free trial membership for this store. And while I have this membership for this store, I, I can start building something for my store. You have that type of mentality. You will go to a town and say, I see opportunity here. Let me start a Facebook page advertising everything in this town and just practicing my journalism skills. Just to practice my journalism skills. And it works for you. And what you also need to understand about who you are, you have passion. You have a passion that these other people don't have. And as inner city people, there's things we go through together that we understand, that we know happens while we're there. But that's for us inner city people to understand while we're there. These out of town people, as an inner city person, I would suggest you not. Unless they show true city behavior, which you can't trust it, you ain't going to be able to ever have them sit with you, ever. Something deep inside of them is always going to be jealous and envious of everything that your spirit is, especially when you're spiritual. And you have to know how to spot it on many angles. I tell you, I look at a New Yorker, a person who claimed to be such a New Yorker, and I look at them and I be like, you in New York, but you're not in New York. You're not a New Yorker. I look at what they entertain. I look at where they be, who they socialize with, because the environment is also other associates. Who do they laugh with the most? What kind of people? This kind of shit. How do they feel about us? How do they feel about us? Because I remember a lady was expressing, "Oh, I don't like up north people." I said, "Nah, we cool. We smart. We educate ourselves. We're creators. We're artists. Not too much on us, man. Not too much on us, lady. Let's not. We're innovators. We're innovators. It's not too much." And there's a lot of immigrant influence from us in these inner cities. We don't discredit that. We don't ever discredit that, because there are, like me, I don't discredit that. I'm a tether. My family came here from the islands. I'm a fucking tether. I don't have full blood that comes from America. I'm not a full foundation. I'm not a full foundational Black American. That's what they told me. That's what the Black Americans told me. They said you're not a full foundational Black American. You're a tether. And so therefore people like me like to stick with my own. My closest homies, one's Mexican, one's African. Anybody else I know and fuck with, they all West Indian. I don't gotta tell y'all that. Or West Indian mixed. Or African mixed. Either way. I'm still here, y'all. So let's get into it. Who else do they associate with? Who are their associations? Who do you see them constantly interacting with? Who they're happiest with when they interact with these people? What kind of people do they associate with the most? Who are the ones that everybody has somebody they like the most? You know, it was this one woman who's a host, right? And I remember Cuzzo had brought this up. She was like, yo, every time I see this woman, she's always hugged up with a man that's, in pictures with men who have did some type of horrible sexual abuse. And I was like, and she was like, I don't like her, And I didn't knock it because I knew exactly what she meant when she told me her observation of that. And it's facts. The analysis is facts that those people are like, it was one guy I didn't even know he was convicted for abusing a woman. I did not know that. But actually, I forgot about it. I forgot about it because it happened and it was something kind of brushed under the rug when it happened. And he's an artist that nobody pays attention to, so maybe because I don't, it was like, But these type of things happen, or these experiences happen, because if you don't watch their other associations, this is why the weird bitch that comes around you, they make sure they let you know they try to make it seem as if they don't fuck with people. But they have so much people to talk about, but they don't fuck with people. They make that, they always don't fuck with nobody, but they have everybody that they talk about. Pay attention to that. Now, touching back into the tarot reading. The reason people will want to put you in the Eight of Swords position is they don't want you to like themselves. They want you to hate, put it like this. They want you to hate themselves. They want you to hate yourself as much as they hate themselves. They want you to be as miserable as they're going to be miserable. They're going to resent you for being the one to tell them, hey, it sounds like semen chemical warfare is affecting you. It sounds like you need to cut people off, or the people around you are affecting you. Your situation sounds like you need to do some inner work with your heart chakra or your root chakra. I've heard people in the most dumbest situations, the most dumbest and weakest situations, and you're the same people that call me weak. The most dumbest and weakest ass situations. I heard people who are in embarrassing situations in their neighborhood. I was with a whole alcoholic. I was young though. And that same person got murdered. Nobody was laughing. When that person got murdered, nobody was laughing no more. And then on top of that, I just had, I understand what happened in my life and how that happened to me or why that happened in my life. But I had some fun times too. And so understand that a lot of people, they don't have the depth to sit down with their life like this. They don't have it. They don't have the depth to sit down and write down things in their life and what they have learned from those things in their life. But you do. You come from a dark, cold environment. Even if you live in California, there's places that when it gets dark, it gets very cold at night. Like I'm talking about freezing cold. You live amongst mountains. You live by the beach. You live amongst nature. You live in a very dangerous environment. It makes you contemplate life very differently when you live around nature, to like close to nature like that. It's about the water in the mountains and the desert. It brings a depth to you. Look at Norway. That's why it's the home of heavy metal. Look at the weather in Norway. All right. So another thing that is very crucial here, I want you to understand something very practical. Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust in, let me say it like this. Guard yourself always. I respect my homies because we don't be in each other business like that. We don't be in nobody's business like that. Shout out to you. My homie the other day was not feeling it. Scorpio moon. I could feel something was wrong. I was like, you good over there? She wasn't feeling it. I said, you all right? You good? Like, double checking in. She's like, girl, I got it. I'm good. I said, okay. We ain't have to go into no girls cuddle in a blanket and eat chips and whine about bullshit. We don't do that. And I like it that way. I like that boundary. I like that they guard themselves that way. One of them bitches probably unalive somebody. I'll never know. Ain't my business. That's how deep it is. It ain't my business. You feel me? A lot of you be like, that's crazy to say, but that's how deep it is. Like, it ain't my business. Long as they ain't plotting to do it to me, I'm good. We cool. And that's just how it is with how it goes in my life. Because I learned to have more boundaries. These out of town people don't have boundaries. They have no boundaries. let me make something else clear, because we are in a patriarchy, right? The pick me and the pick Misha and the mammy behavior is through the roof. It's top tier with out of towners. The pick me behavior, the pick Misha, and the mammy behavior is through the roof with these out of towners. They are dumb. Whether it's with opposite same sex, they're dumb. They're very dumb. Just so they can look some type of way to people. And see, those of us who come from the inner city, we don't give a fuck. It's about what's best for us. You understand? It's about what's best for what we have going for ourselves. Ain't about what other people feel. What is the, because we're energy people. We're already spiritually energy people. That's just how it goes. You ever notice people who have an out-of-towner type of mind that live in the inner city? Do you ever notice how jealous and envious they are of the people and how overweight they are? They're always overweight and they're always squinting their eyes and they're always saying something smart mouth because they're so jealous and envious. They don't know how to blend in. And that comes to religion too. They don't know how to blend in. They can't. They don't want to. Because they don't understand that type of energy because it ain't in them to understand it. Now, going back to observe and analyze, let me teach you more stuff that I had to learn. Okay. So, number one, you have to face what people are. Don't ever go back to anything else, but you face what people are. I'm going to tell you what that means in a minute. When you face what people are, that means that when you're sitting here, right, and you are in a situation with, let's say, Listen, you need a trash bag? Never mind, baby. Don't mind me. I'm saying I found the trash bags. Yeah. I didn't know if you still needed some more. If you are in a space where you have to strength, we're going to go back to that again. You are in a space where you have to, what is the word? You have to, I think you know what I'm trying to say. Where your brand is taken, you take your brand wherever you go, right? Wherever your brand is at, and you have to go into another space with your brand. You need to plan out, first observe the environment, but you need to plan out how you are going to operate in their environment. Okay? All right? You need to understand how you're going to move and how you're going to operate in that environment. That means that you observe the atmosphere, you fill out the room, you fill out the environment. And then from observing and filling out this environment is where you will then that's when you, how the fuck I do that? Okay. Well, you begin to know how you're going to navigate in that environment, even if you have to write people down like, okay, I might fuck around with this person here, or let me look here. You have to start watching. Build a page, of course, when you're on the streaming app, build a page with a real picture. It can, you know what I'm saying, and something with you, maybe a full bio, and just observe. Sometimes you're gonna get kicked out a lot, but if you don't get kicked out a lot, just make sure your page looks real, interact with the room a little bit, or not. Okay. And so therefore, you need to understand the environment of getting involved in a streaming app. I'm going to tell you something that I have learned about streaming apps. And I didn't follow through with it because I got so caught up with being on there and just connecting with people and stuff and everything. I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. When you get involved in a streaming app, you need to be selfish. You need to only associate with those who are on your top gifting list. Whoever is gifting you the most, whoever you interact with the most, and make sure you associate with the best, who's gifting you the most, that's who you follow. That's who your favorite is on that list. Okay? That's how you do it. Uh this will be number 3. Okay. So that's very key. Who gifts you the most? Put them on your fave list. Okay? Also, you need to also look at um what kind of associations do you want on there? So type in keywords and see if you can find your associations on there. Because if not, you might be on an app where your type of associations are not on there. That's what happened to me. My kind of associations are not really on the app. And so therefore, that's where I kind of had my downfall. I don't really have a lot of punk rock, heavy metal heads and stuff like that. They're gone. So I have to go and find a streaming app where I can find a plethora of metalheads and such on the app. Okay. Also, be mindful of, you have to be very mindful on a streaming app who you really like. That is where it's big about your association, big about, is it okay for you to put your, that's why I said if it's okay to put your business and your websites out there, because you can walk into the realm of people who will actually try to destroy everything that you have. There's people who have been on the app Bigo, and they have lost their channel, and people have referred to that app as the devil. But Bigo is actually a really good app. You can actually really be successful on Bigo if you really put that work in and you associate with the right people. You can be successful on any of these apps if you keep the right association. But the key thing is you're going to have to stream in your own shit, and you're going to have to be selfish. And it's going to have to be business first, and you got to be stern about who you give a badge to, what kind of people you talk to, looking at who associates with who, and keep it like that. That is where you really have to guard your reputation. Because if not, that is the place where your reputation can be ruined the most. So please, 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 that's where the weirdos really can try to come get you in those spaces. So be very, very mindful. Now, this is where I gotta talk to the inner city folk on this part. Inner city folk, you need to understand on streaming apps, you make your life look rich. We can get on yachts. Inner city people, it's not hard for us to get on a yacht. Um, we can get on we can go to the beach depending on where we live at. We can party. We can wear the flyest outfits. We can put on name brands. We can look rich. We can go somewhere and get a discount on a good ass phone, iPhone or some shit. We can look like we got paper. With only $200 in our pocket. Okay. So a lot of these out of town people can be envious of that luxury that we get because they don't really understand. They don't really know what's going on there. They don't really know. They have no clue what's going on with us. And so from their shallow eyes and their short-sightedness, when they look at us, they get very upset. Just because you have a panel don't mean you have to invite people on your panel. Just because there's an open panel and somebody push a button to come on your panel, it doesn't mean that you have to let people come on your panel. You hear me? You set rules and standards for your stream. It don't matter if you're new. You are a brand. You set rules and standards for your stream. I'm just telling you. Thank me later. The people who will be full of bullshit, they'll wean away. They will wean the fuck away. I promise you. Don't let people close to you. Rule number 1. What the fuck? Don't let people close to you. Okay? Rule number 1. Keep them at a distance. Now, give or take, my homie that I have to this day, definitely we still talk to this day. That's my homie. We still talk. But other than that, that's an exception. See, I can do that because that was okay. But sometimes that person be talking about the app a lot. And I be like, I listen to them and shit. And I say what I say, but I keep it moving. But still, you have to be wise. I say don't let people close. Don't let people in the inbox. Don't let people get numbered. Don't get close to people. Don't do it. Take it from me. Ooh. Take it from me. Don't let them too close. Then I'm thinking, why don't you let people close? Do you understand that being on this world stage and being in this position, especially if you've been here for a long time, do you understand that you are at a D-list celebrity status? Let's read up a D-list celebrity. No AI. Okay. A D-list celebrity is a public figure who is relatively obscure, often famous for minor roles, reality TV appearance, or being famous for being famous. It occupies the lowest tier in the celebrity hierarchy. A D-list celebrity is typically less recognized and less influential than higher tier celebrities such as A-list or B-list stars. Their fame is often limited to niche audience or specific media appearances, and they may have had only brief moments of public attention. Unlike an A-list celebrity who are widely known and bankable, D-list celebrities often rely on reality TV, tabloid coverage, or social media notoriety to maintain visibility. Key traits of a D-list celebrity include limited recognition. They are generally not household names and may only be known within certain circles or for specific events. That's you. That's me. Short-lived fame. Their popularity can be fleeting, often peaking after a single reality show, viral moment, or minor acting role. Okay? Famous by association. Many gain attention through relationship with higher profile celebrities or by participating in minor media events. Myself. Media dependence. They frequently appear on reality shows, game shows, or minor TV events to stay relevant. I'm not going on a reality TV show, but I'm saying I was going to apply for the reality TV show for the app, but then I changed my mind. Some well-known examples of D-list celebrities include Snooki from Jersey Shore. Definitely, she's like number one. Paris Hilton. I did not know Paris Hilton was a D-list celebrity. Lindsay Lohan. Wow. Didn't know she was D. Who gained fame through reality TV, scandals, or tabloids coverage rather than sustained professional achievements. These individuals often engage in public stunts or media appearances or maintain the visibility. Context of celebrity hierarchy. The D-list is the lowest level in the A to D celebrity ranking system, which categorizes public figures based on fame, influence, and career success. While A-list celebrities are globally recognized and highly bankable, D-list celebrities are often struggling to remain relevant and may have limited career opportunities in mainstream entertainment. The hierarchy is fluid, meaning a celebrity can move up or down depending on the their career choices, media presence, and public interest. In summary, a D-list celebrity is someone who has achieved some level of fame but lacks widespread recognition, enduring influence, or major professional accomplishments, often relying on media exposure, public attention to maintain, or excuse me, media exposure and public attention to maintain their status. Now, let me Reddit, someone asked someone to explain these celebrity tiers. I'm going to go up and I'm going to tell you, if you are on a world stage like this, I don't give a fuck if you're a hood celebrity. You're still a celebrity. You're still in this category. Okay? Let's go. Z-list, TikTok, YouTube, and internet people. Okay, so there's a Z-list. TikTok, YouTube, and internet people. So you still in the tier of a celebrity. Do you still, because I was like, isn't there another one? I could have sworn I knew it was another one. So Z-list, TikTok, YouTube, and internet people. That's where you start when you're on this world stage and you get views. I don't got two people watching me in my background. I don't got two people watching me on my socials. I go in the background. I watch them numbers. Reality TV people think The Bachelorette too hot to handle. I know that in Love Island. C-list TV main cast, people under 40 will recognize them. B-list, your parents have heard of them. Movie stars and musicians, some TV people too. A-list, your 70-year-old grandparents recognize their name or face. Think Beyonce and Brad Pitt will also be known internationally. Why did it say deleted? Oh, that's the person's name. In my opinion, the harder the platform is to get on, the more exclusive it is. And the higher up you are, anyone can upload a TikTok. Normal people can get on reality TV, but only certain people, usually with talent, can get major movie deals or major record deals. Right. There you go. But do you not realize that you are still a Z list? But we read the D list celebrity. It's stated in the D list celebrity from online. That's a Reddit post, by the way, and that's from the co-pilot search. And I recognize the co-pilot search more than anything. Okay. It says the D-list celebrities typically less recognized and less influential than higher celebrities such as A-list or B-list. Their fame is often limited to niche audiences or specific media appearances, and they may have had only brief moments of public attention. I'm telling you, when you are in this position, you are at the level of a D-list celebrity. And it may sound a little too crazy when I tell you this, but I'm dead ass serious. You're at the level of a D-list celebrity. Whether you want to face that or not. Especially if you've been out here a long fucking time. Listen. Only you know what you're worth. They hate that about us. Those out of towners, they hate that we take ourselves so serious. They do. But you're supposed to. That's why their lives is the way that it is, because they don't take themselves serious. When you are putting yourself in a certain industry of work, you have to carry yourself a certain way. Do you understand? When you are in a certain industry of work, you do have to carry yourself a certain way. And if you want to make connections with other people inside that industry of work, you have to put yourself out there to those events. You have to put yourself out there and your work out there to the world. Of course, being wise about your copyrights. You have to stand up there and you have to show your work. There's a book called Show Your Work. That's what you have to do. There's no other way around how it's going to get done. And so, with a lot of people in these out of towners, they don't understand that shit. They don't get it like we get it. We utilize technology too. We utilize technology. They the only out of towners are the only ones complaining about AI and Chat GTP. They're the only weirdos complaining about that. We utilize that. Mic check, mic check. Okay. They don't understand that way of living the way that we understand that way of living. If you don't have no industry you're working for and you just getting on the microphone, then fine, get on the microphone. But you need to understand what comes with that. Once those views start getting up, once you start building a certain type of platform, you are on the world stage. And the archetype of someone who's hidden behind the curtain has to reveal the person. This is why there were guilds that people had to join before they can even touch a microphone. You couldn't get a beat machine. You couldn't get nothing until you passed that guild. Until you went through that guild to even be recognized, because there was rules inside the guild. So be thankful that you can make music. Be thankful that you can write a song. Be thankful that you can even write a story and grab a camera and find other directors and photographers to put it together, because it was not like this before. You could never do this. There was rules. There was things we understood on a spiritual level of being on this world stage and being like this. We understood archetypes, the divine muses, and all these different things. This is what art school and all this stuff is about. That's on purpose that people try to discredit art school. But those of us that are in art, we understand the importance of having education in art. Art is a very intellectual thing, passion to be a part of. You can't be an artist and be a dummy. It doesn't make no sense. It doesn't add up. Anybody who I know that's an artist in their lives is a complete wreck, they're not going to make it as an artist. They're not going to make it anywhere as an artist. Anybody who's shallow and short-sighted, they're not going to make it as an artist. I've noticed that. There's a certain personality of a person who does art, esoteric, occult, however you metaphysical, however they do it. There's a certain level of frequency that they get their life to. Than people who are like that. And those people are the most envious and jealous. And that's where all that weird ass energy comes from. And so you got to be prepared for it. That's what my reading was all about. I got to be prepared for that. That weird ass energy is gonna happen. But that's what the Queen of Swords and the Hierophant is about. Just keeping on and staying focused. Because it's next to the Tower. Because I was like, the Tower, it's all about what's around the Tower. Sometimes it can be financially crashed, right? It could be romantic. It could be something, because the Tower card is the Tower falling apart, right? That's really what the Tower card is. And so literally with the Tower card, if you're not careful, right? It's to heed a warning about something. So with the Tower card, what's around that card is telling you what you need to be prepared, like what's coming, that you got to be prepared for, that's coming. And because the Tower was paired with the Queen of Swords and the Hierophant, that was representative, of course, myself. Next to the Hierophant, because remember the cards that was around it too. Remember this card was like the third or fourth card in the order. Preparing to be that Tower, preparing to be that Queen of Swords next to the Hierophant, preparing to be those things. Because being the Queen of Swords next to the Hierophant is what is going to bring the Tower. And there's nothing that I can do about that. Okay? There's nothing I can do about that. Having this level of information that I do, having this level of information that I have, is already going to be shocking to many people. Number one, right? Okay. Number one, I'm live in 2 places, by the way, y'all. Okay. Number one, There are people who get mad at the fact of you just knowing what you know, of being who you are and the inside of yourself bothers people. A lot of people are stupid. So a lot of people assume that everybody is stupid. And so when you show that through your artistry, through your intelligence, through your writing and how you speak that you're not stupid, you're going to have people that's going to feel some type of way about that, especially when you are a woman. So you need to understand what you are up against. Okay? You know what you're up against. You need to also, class, I need y'all to understand, if you learn anything from this class, know what position you are in. If you realize that you're a D or a Z-list celebrity, the fact that celebrity is next to your motherfucking name says enough about who you are. But there's an other side to this that you must understand. And it is the failed industry person. How did I come to this? When I had that situation where someone did something to me and my children, right? I told y'all about that, right? My spirit kept saying it was a failed industry person. That's all I kept hearing was it was a failed industry person, a failed industry people, or just failed industry people, meaning people who are in the industry or were in the industry or in the industry, right? And it didn't work out for them. And it didn't work out with them because they did not put the full work in, or they chose a relationship or something over themselves. Okay? Failed industry. They probably didn't want to do it because they believed that they were signing their soul to the devil, dumb shit like that. A failed industry person. And so they look at you and they see who you are and they see that you're about to get yourself there. And when they see you're about to get yourself there, they're going to try to stop you. They're never going to take responsibility for why they failed. They just want you to fail. And this is why you have to be careful with people, right? In the associations, like you have to fill people out all the fucking way. I have family in the industry. I'm not impressed by people who are celebrities in the industry. I only like you because I like how you write. I like how you direct. I like the work that you do. I mean, I like the music that you make. I like the way that you are creative. That's the only reason I like you. Or that I'm drawn to your energy or inspired by your energy. I enjoy the way that you do your art. That's the only way that I'm inspired by your energy. And so, therefore, when you have that level of understanding things, and when you begin to understand about the failed industry person, this is the one you will watch out for the most. What does that mean? I went to that guy's page and I saw his art. I saw that somebody they're a music artist, and I saw that when I went to this person's page, I saw under their page that person follows their page. And I looked at that person's name and I said, damn, this looks very familiar. And I looked at their art and something in me just felt this energy about it. Like, this person, like, and so because it felt like that, I was like, oh, this got to be somebody who I probably crossed paths with them before. They probably were one of the group of people who were very jealous of me. I don't let those type of feelings shake me. And so I'll go back and find that page, which I will. and I'll make sure to block them. You have to know your worth so you don't be a fan to other people. I saw the guy Duck Sauce. New York City people know who that is. And I said, not to fan out, but you're a fucking legend. He was like, thank you. I remember you. It's okay to do stuff like that. That's support. That's showing love and keeping it the fuck on moving. And then keep in mind, everybody is in survival mode. That person, unlike you, who can probably go work that 9 to 5 and do what you need to do for yourself, or work multiple jobs and still do what you need to do with yourself on the side in the industry that you work, you got to understand that that person cannot do what you do. What up, Kim? They can't do what you do. Therefore, when they work, they got to work. They got to hustle. They got to do that collab. They got to make those sales. It's not easy for them to go get a 9 to 5 like that, even if they try, because of the type of fame and attention that they got, that they can't just do a regular 9 to 5. They got to do those commercials. They got to get paid for whatever film they're making or whatever. Like, their life depends on the money that they make every day from their entrepreneurship. They have to keep that in mind. The felt industry person still eats off of the fame, still eats off of the attention. This is where they're weird. They eat off the fame, they feed off the attention. They eat off of whatever high status thing that they are, but deep inside they have failed in their industry. And I don't ever say people fail, but that's what my spirit picked up. They failed in their fucking industry. They're not going to be anything more than what they are. And those are the people who will be the number one people that will attack you for being who and what you are as a creator. They will hate the fact that you are still going. They will hate the fact that, you know what they see? They really see the fact that you do have your fame, your attention, whatever it is that you're doing, but you're engulfed in your own world and you're not really worried. You're not really into the fame part like they are. They are. But because of the way their brains work, they think that you're like them in the sense of, and they also, it's a lot going on with those people. Like, I'm not even trying to get too much in their brain, but I'm trying to get you to understand that these people, they're jealous and envious anyway. That's why they're in the position that they're in. And don't ever let that go past your head with anybody. Somebody can do their art, but when you do your art, they got a fucking problem with your art. Well, why is my art such a problem when you do art? When your art, you got more resources than what I do, because it's the spirit about what you do. It's the spirit about who you are and how you get that art done. That's what you need to understand is going on there. And you know what, too, y'all? You know, these people, not only is the spirit about what you do, it's also, it is about the spirit of what you do, but it's how people respond to you. It's how people respect you. It's how people look at you as you have answers for something, and they hate that. We do things out of wisdom in inner city people. Listen to inner city people talk. Look at how inner city people talk to you about life and lessons that they learned and mistakes that they made. We're always teaching some shit, not on purpose. It just happens that way because
We have a different type of reality of life that they don't have to. Look at how when you are an inner city person, how you find these great books to read and apply to your life that is not easy to come by as an inner city person. And they get jealous and they get envious of that about us. And you need to understand that. I hope y'all all feel what I'm telling you. Listen, guys. I wish I could download this show. I'm here. No, they're not getting money. They're not getting no money. No, I've got my money before. They're not getting no more. Okay, one more thing. As an inner city person who is doing the work that you do on this world stage, you have to understand deeply from your heart that you are so very special. And I'm being not trying to be cheesy. I need you to understand you are very, very special. You are a chosen one by being born in those spaces. You are already a chosen one by by having access to all. I have been meeting celebrities since I was born, since I was a little girl. I've never utilized my family in industry. I had my cousin one time. I had made something back in my 20s. He was like, "Yo, give me his number." He said, "Look," he said, "just call me. Whatever you do, send it out to me, and I'll mix it for you." And I didn't utilize him. This cousin has written songs. I'm not going to name drop. He has written songs for people to this day. If I was to tell you the name of the people, I would just tell you. No, because then I'm giving out my family name. This he has. Well, then it don't matter because he's in a rap group that's legendary. That's still going. But I didn't utilize him. I could still utilize him now, but I didn't utilize him. So it's these type of things that's a blessing and that's makes you special and chosen on this path. And so when you begin to understand these things, that alone will make you keep it the fuck on pushing. That alone will make you say fuck everybody. Fuck these weirdos. That's what you need to label them. They're weirdos. You're weird, bitch. You had an opportunity in your hand to be what you said you were going to be, that whoever this famous person is, just like her, but you didn't do it because of some belief in some signing soul to the devil. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. So why are you going around? If that's what you did out of your belief, why the fuck are you bothering us? Why the fuck are you bothering me right now? That's you, bitch. I would have never done that. I would have taken the opportunity. I would have done it because these people give a fuck about other people. That's why they're so caught up with the fame, because that's what they want. They want all the attention. And this is why when you step in the room and you're not doing anything but just existing and being who you are, they try to give you a humiliation ritual or put a humiliation ritual on you because they are jealous and envious of everything that you are. We don't belong in their spaces as inner city people. I think a lot of inner city people know this already, and I'm going to ring the bell to give you that push to help you understand, no, we cannot. We cannot. They can't sit with us. They don't understand us. They don't get our lives. Inner city is New York City, Chicago, LA. Honorable mentions of city south areas is Dallas and Miami and Atlanta. But the true inner city portal is New York City, Chicago, and LA, where Hollywood is, right? And so therefore, you look at the portal of people who live in that frequency, look at how we all live. Look at how we all think. We cannot vibe with out of towners. We can vibe with a Dallas, Texas, a Miami, Florida, and Atlanta. We can. We can vibe with them, but we can't truly bond with no one but our own as inner city people. And that's just the facts. You can go look around yourself. There are people who they gang up with people from their town. I have seen people from Jersey gang up with nothing but a bunch of Jersey people. I've seen people from Michigan gang up with a bunch of Michigan people. I've seen these town areas, these small Virginia too, and just gang up with each other. Especially Virginia, because Virginia don't get along with a lot of people in the states. They're the I think Virginia is the most isolated state. Like wherever they go, they don't really vibe with nobody, but they own. But that's Virginia for you. So understand that the Eight of Swords is what they try to do to you, as well as what they try to do to them. They want you to doubt who you are. They want you to doubt how what you say you are. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to have doubt about success. They want to pull you away from who you know you are spiritually and who you know what you know works for you spiritually. This is why in the day-to-day world, that's why you got to have your spiritual guard up. This is why your day-to-day world, working and all this and that, you got to be up. You got to be on guard. That neighbor, all that bullshit she did, she don't actually realize that she actually did something to my benefit. She thought she did something great, but she actually made it worse for her. Financially, she actually made it worse for herself. I know that for a fact she did. And whatever energy I came with, that shit is gone. And it's not a nana nana boo boo thing. It's me just knowing that about myself. And also, as well as let me say this, like there's no reason to get into that, but I'm gonna just say this. You have blessings upon blessings that happen to your life always. Even if you hide them and no one sees them, it's there. And this is why you can't allow people into your world, because they can see that. And they will do everything subconsciously or even consciously to get in the way of everything that you are. So people are going to start seething at the fact of you being who you are. But I'm here to tell you there's a way that you don't have to attract the weirdo. You have to be selfish. Stay on your own platform. Okay? Stay on your own platform. Build your platform very professionally. Don't have access to you. Don't allow people to have such easy access to you. Stay focused and diligent and remain in the frequency of the work in which it is that you do. Make sure that whatever it is that you do, that you take the shit very serious, whatever it is that you do. Don't see the work that you do as this is just a hobby of things that you do. It's much more than that. You can pitch your art, you can pitch your work, you can pitch your idea. If you have art, you can sit down and write out a full presentation of art that you can do. The paper that just fell, it's interesting that this paper has fell. Interesting that this paper has fell, right? Because I found something where this woman had did a full presentation of her art, and I actually went there and I actually sat down and was walking around and reading what this woman what this woman was doing. You understand what I'm saying? I was sitting down and I was reading how the idea of her art, the concept, just everything, and it's in paragraphs how she did this. Okay, and this is just an example that I'm pulling. It's in my art box. It's in my art folder now, but I thought it was here, but it's not. And so what she did was she she basically went into her all right, y'all. Y'all already know this. I think this is a YouTube problem at this point, or this ain't a me problem. My internet good. I called them today. Make sure they fix that shit ASAP. No problem. All right? So inside of this presentation, she goes into the whole story, the pictures, the art, the story, and I picked that shit up and I kept it. I even told the people, how much would it be if I wanted to do my art. They told me just that they want to see my art, they want to see what I do, what I write, this, that, and the third. Okay, and so just that fast from my association with attending this person's event, I found a way to set up an event for myself with my art. Now, given at that time, I end up doing more art pieces than that time than what I had. I couldn't even tell you what I had. I probably just had a few paintings, but I end up doing more art pieces. And I have art pieces right now that I put on my wall that is enough art to present in an art gallery. How beautiful is that? So don't ever discredit what it is that you do. It can be something beautiful. It can be something. An artist that you are inspired by. I don't give a damn how many artists I've met. If I'm inspired by your work, I'm inspired by your work. and I'm gonna put that in my art. And as an artist, if you see me, you know I'm not capping. You know, like, okay, yeah, this person is really, really using me as a muse for their art. I don't have to worry about that. And so now I'm checking the tag rooms, seeing how everybody doing up in there. What up? What up? Welcome to me hosting my show VP14 Bad Bitch Craft Radio live on YouTube right now. Yeah, man. VP14 BPR the channel. If you want to come over there and join the chat room, but you don't have to. If you want to tag, you can just write. But I spend more time over here than I'll be over there. Let's get back to this failed industry person. Now, this is another reason why you keep certain type of associations to get yourself to the next level of fame. These are things I learned on my own. I didn't get this in a book. Just knowing frequencies and laws of attraction, I said, fuck this shit, bro. I said, nah, I started talking. I started putting myself out there. I started going to places. I started exploring things. I started doing new things. Doing things that I love, that I enjoy. I started getting up and fucking, what's the name? You know, basically just living life and knowing how to live life, not just living it, not just frolicking around, no, actually living life, learning how things work. Who is this artist? I'm connecting with this artist, this creative. Who is this artist and creative also connected to? What did this artist and creative do to get to the level of life that they did? What choices are they making to get to that level? It's so many artists I have followed and watched their path, and I'm going to tell you what it is. They stayed focused on whatever the fuck they were doing. My manager stays focused on whatever the fuck he doing. He almost 50 years old. He was in a rap group. He been in the industry. He done it all. And now he got his magazine that he got and all kind of stuff he got going on. But there's still opportunity right there. So when I get up and I start writing on my blog, right? That's an opportunity for me to take opportunity, okay, in other places. The 5 keys to great writing is economy, precision, action, music, and personality. The elements of composition: purpose, point of view, organization, support, coherence. These are the type of books I read. The Keys to Great Writing by Stephen Wilbur. He sounds like somebody that'll write a book like that. It's like a Virgo, right? And I love books like this. Okay? I got a lot of highlighting and annotating I did in this book. And I admire having knowledge of information like this because I've never seen anybody read this book. I have never seen nobody even talk about this book. Now, let me get back to it. I want to talk to people who are the serious speakers. Okay, we want to say number 4 is a message to my serious speakers.
What's his name? My serious speakers, I'm talking to y'all right now. Hello, is this thing on? Not Stephen King popping up. Poor thing. Let's talk to my serious speakers. All right. My serious speakers. You know the ones that get up here, just have a message, right? My serious speakers that you get up here and uh you basically how do I say it? You just get on a microphone because you have a message. You just have something to say, right? And you wanna just get something out for the world to hear. There's something I need you to understand as a serious speaker. And what you are doing as a person on the world stage, even though you don't see yourself that way. Okay? I know you don't see yourself that way, but I need you to understand what the world stage sees you as. So my serious speakers who get up here and you read your book, have your information, and you talk about whatever the topic may be. The divestors, they'll be classified as serious speakers, but here's the thing about divestors, they clown around a lot. They clown around a lot. They got jokes about a lot of shit, and they also address other people, right? You're not exempt for the laws, the spiritual laws of of, being an archetype on the world stage. You're not exempt from that. That's you're not exempt from that. And so when you get on that microphone and you public speak, any form of public speaking, you are upheld to whatever your word is bond, whatever you talk about. This is why people eventually start confessing the truth about their life because their conscious can't handle the lies. This is why, as a public speaker, you go through the biggest transformations in your life because of what you're speaking from, and you're speaking to people, but you're also speaking more to yourself than anything. And this is why, as public speakers, many people stand up in front of the microphone and speak from our wisdom for what we learn, and we become teachers. See, I can't get around it. I'm a teacher. I'm a spiritual teacher. I can't get around that. I don't have to be certified as a teacher. Like life gave me the lessons. Life told me, the universe told me I'm a fucking teacher. I don't have to get the certification. Trust me, I tried to get certified as a teacher. But you can get certified as like a prophetess and shit like that. That's my choice if I want to even go there. I don't have to. As a writer, I'm classified as a teacher. As a songwriter, singer, you're classified as a teacher. You can't get away from that. And so those of you who just are your serious speakers that get on the microphone to talk about the topics that you do, you're going to have to understand something about putting yourself in this position. The person behind the curtain eventually unveils itself or gets unveiled. That's what the Wizard of Oz is about. The Wiz, it was Richard Pryor that was behind the damn curtain, a whole comedian that was behind the curtain. And if you know what Richard Pryor looked like, you'll laugh. And a lot of people behind the curtain are very, very funny. Like, I wanted to be a comedian. If I did anything else, I wanted to be a comedian. But instead, they're nurses and other things in the medical field, surgeons and stuff like that. And I say this too.
I say that I think about how so many people get into this realm
And do not understand what position they're playing and what happens when they're in this position, right? And I look at how people are like, what's the word here? How people go through these major breakdowns because they don't understand how important it is to be on this path. They don't understand it, right?
I look at how people do not get why things happen to them the way that it does.
I look at that. And a lot of these people who that happens to are people who put themselves publicly out there. They get on the microphone and speak and they say the things that they say. And I'm like, you don't know what you're doing to yourself when you do that. You're writing things online. They don't know what they're doing to themselves when they do that. And this is why those of us that get it, we only display whatever the archetype is that we display. That alone will make people hate you. You're not exempt from people disliking you. You are going to get more targets at you, more daggers at you from people because the fact of who are you? That who are you is going to be the thing that everybody's going to eat at. People can see me. I know people, and I'm sure it was my neighbor. I know people have seen my socials. I'm not stupid. I know people seen the badge next to my name. I mean, it just see. I know that, but I also have decided to do acting as well. So I'm out there. So when you put yourself in this position, you got to have tough fucking skin. When you live your life not allowing these weirdos in your life, you don't have nothing to concern yourself with. When you're fully tapped into your spiritual gifts, you got your spiritual guard up. You ain't playing with nobody out in this motherfucker. With nothing, or like you ain't playing with these niggas. Nobody for the N word, but you ain't playing with these motherfuckers. And so, therefore, this is why I scream this to the rooftop to all of you. The person who's in your industry of work, the person who's doing what you're doing, is the person who's the most likely to fucking hate on you. Because deep inside, what you expose is that they're not really doing what they say they're doing, and they're not doing it in the way that they're making it seem as they're doing it. You're getting it out the mud. You really had nobody and you had to make it on your own. And that is shown. People can see that. You really had to go through some shit to still come out of it and still be where you are. People can see that. And you gotta and also keep in mind these weirdos, their lives is fucked up. I got front row seat to tell you their lives are very, very fucked up. And they're never gonna pull out of what they're in. Their tower moments is not gonna it don't work. Their tower moments is still not enough for them. They don't get it. And people try to make mockery of people and be like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Okay, go ahead and do it. If you can do it, go ahead and do it. So they be in competition with people that ain't even thinking about them. And this is why you have to build your caliber the way you build your caliber. Because if you don't, then girl, but it comes with how you build your caliber. And understand that this path is this the part of this path is the work that you put into yourself as well as into what you do. That's the part of the path that is where the real work is at. And when you focus on that part of the path, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why you gotta ignore people. That's why you gotta make sure you keep these people from around you. Like their lives are fucking weird. They're weird, bro. I know I keep using that word, but I'm telling you they're weird. I watch people. I have watched, let me just go ahead and just say this right here. I have watched people who come from the ego streaming app, Facebook streamer world. I watched them come out of that world and go outside with real people. And I have watched how they interact with people so much that their retarded asses get thrown in jail. And I'm going to tell you why. They take that extra reckless mouth social media talking shit outside. They take, okay, the extra bullshit, right? Weird shit outside to the world. I'm going to tell you examples of what I have seen with these people in these social spaces that go outside and carry on. At one time, I'm going to have to drop names here. I one time saw the Shamar dude, right? Wasn't Shamar called something else with the wigs and stuff on? I don't remember. I one time saw the Shamar dude, right, actually be outside. And if you know Shamar is disabled. I think the spinal disability or something. And Shamar was outside, and Shamar I just saw Shamar just start punching this dude and fighting him. And the dude hit him one time, and Shamar's face was like, you could tell he felt it, and he couldn't really give it to dude. Okay? I forgot her name. She's from Detroit. She a boxer. I watched Shorty. I watched how she what she do? She was in the Uber. She was in the Uber, and she argued. She was, like I said, she's a boxer. She argued with. Now I'm gonna tell you all these people's lies after. She argued with the Uber driver, and she was just getting reckless with him. I don't know if she was high, drunk. She looked like she was on some shit, and she was just getting reckless with him. And she put her hands on him, and she got her ass arrested right there live. She got her ass arrested instantly, and I think she got arrested. I think she ended up getting time for that. And that was the last time I ever seen that person stream. I forgot her name. Then let's get into these people's lives. And then I've actually seen a dude who gets straight disrespected wherever he was at. Everybody was just disrespecting him. Just everybody disrespected him. What happened is, the woman I'm talking about, I can't believe her name is at the tip of my fucking tongue. She has 6 children, 4 disabled children. The man she had the children with was her trainer. She was a young girl out here. She was boxing. He was her trainer. They had all those children together, and they be fighting each other. That's her life. That's her life that she has on social media. Then you have Shamar dude, who's still out there making music. People still making music with Shamar. And there's other people where I've seen glimpses of their lives. Let me tell you something. When you see that person who you doing your thing and they doing theirs, but your body gets a feeling about this motherfucker that you can't shake, that's a major sign that some weird shit is going on. That person's weird. When I say weird, I'm talking about what I just told you. That they really don't really have themselves as together as you may have yourself together. That's another major thing. You may have it more together than they have it together. And it's also spiritually who you are too. That's it as well. Then when you're dealing with people who carry this type of shit with themselves, it's not for you to care, but it is for you to keep mind of. It's not care, but you do keep mind of it. I had one woman I looked at, I said, am I just mad because, who she's standing next by, and I really want to collab with this person? Is that what I'm mad about? And I sat down with myself. And I was like, it's something else here. There's something else here. And I don't sit in it for too long because I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to, what's the name? I'm not trying to find out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go there with it. And so, with that being said, I have another thing that I feel is extremely, 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 extremely important for everybody to know. Okay? You got to stay focused, my love. Do you hear me? You got to stay focused. I want you to hear me closely. You got to stay focused, my love. Yeah, my water bottles. I'm one of those. For those on the camera with me. I be having the water bottles everywhere. I do that. Always drinking water. Shout out to y'all who can see me. Shout out to y'all who can hear me. All right. You got to stay focused, my love. And keep and hone on your craft. And you can't let nothing or no one. You got to be focused and concentrated on everything that you're doing. Because I'm promising you that, hold on, y'all. I promise you this from the bottom of my motherfucking heart. From the bottom of my motherfucking heart. You hear me? Ain't nobody worth it. Ain't nobody worth it. You're going to sit around in this world and you're going to look around at you and you're going to look around and see people who kept going. You're going to look around and you're going to realize that, oh shit, if I would have just did that, then I would have had this. If I would have just did that, then I would have had this. You feel me? Let me tell y'all something. Everybody I fucking know okay, that has made it happen. They kept fucking going. Let me say it again, because I want to put this on my reel. I want y'all to hear me very fucking closely. All right? Everybody I know who has made it happen, they kept fucking going and they never stopped. And they kept focusing on the very thing that it is that they were doing. They didn't let no one get in their way. And when I say no one, they let no one get in their way. Focused and concentrated. You understand? Focused and concentrated. Let me help you understand what focused and concentrated means. To be focused and concentrated means that whatever it is that you're doing, you laser sharp on whatever it is that you're doing. That's what focused and concentrated means. You like, that's all you do. Now to the idiots, do not. To be focused and concentrated means that is how you build your hypnotic rhythm. And when you have that kind of concentration and rhythm going on, nobody's breaking through that. Can't no trolls, can't no inbox message, none of that. But I'm going to tell you the things in life that can cause you to get distracted. I got a message in the back. I got a message in the back, y'all. Hold on. Oh, my application I did yesterday. Oh, now these motherfuckers want to hit me up. The fuck? Funny, I said stay focused and concentrated, but nah, that's important though. That bitch was important though. I was like, hold on, who this? I was like, wait a minute. They was supposed to damn. Didn't I do that shit the other day? These niggas just now getting back to me. Hold on, y'all. Yo. I dead ass reached out to these people like Friday? I was like, damn, where my email at? And now they hitting me up Monday. That's crazy. The fuck? Yeah. So when you keep yourself set that way, and for women especially, unfortunately in the world of women hate us that work a lot. Women hate us that believe in ourselves and take ourselves serious. And so they're going to be our biggest trolls. They're going to be our biggest haters. They can't control their envy and jealousy. So they're going to be the ones that's going to try to, set us up and all kind of bullshit. And so therefore, as a woman, you really have to remain more focused and concentrated in this shit. Because you're going to become a spot on Gotham. Just like that. If you really don't pay attention. How many times women have told stories about, I what's the name? You know what I'm saying? How many times have women told stories and was like, yo, I was building this and I was doing that and I was building this and I had my page. And a bunch of these fucking broads decided to take down my page. How many times have we heard this shit? How many times have women had to take their whole entire brand? Women had to take their whole entire brands and be like, yo, I'm going behind the wall. I'm just going to have to charge everybody for my work. How many times we had to do that? You had a woman here yesterday that was talking about how she was paranoid for doing her show and shit because she knew women was trying to dox her. Because women hate to see, unascended women hate to see women work. The ascended woman gonna work. And the unascended woman hates that shit. Especially the divine feminine. You definitely gonna fucking work. You definitely gonna put in that work. And you definitely gonna hustle. And she hates that because you ain't stressing about some dick or some stud. That's why she mad about you. That's why she mad at you. She mad that your life, you have chose a life free from whatever life she chose her life to be. See how that weird shit go? She mad at you about that. And so therefore, this is why on this path I stress. And I mean I stress. Okay? This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, it's about you. At the end of the day, it's about what the fuck your mission is. Because I got something to tell you. If nobody ever told you this, honey bun, you're on a mission. And I hate pet names. I hate when YouTubers do that shit. But I'm going to tell you, honey bun, you're on a mission. I'm going to be the one to tell you, honey bun, these bitches are weird. And you got to get that guard up. You got to get that spiritual guard up.
And you gotta say fuck everything. I'm on a mission. Because I promise you, if you lay it down, it's gonna nag at you. It's gonna nag at you. And somehow, some way, life gonna make you pick it back up again. And you're gonna have so many people around you that's going to aggravate you to the point where you're going to you can't do it when your life is the work that you do. That's just the facts. That's why you gotta let these weird bitches go. Why does she need to talk to you every day like this? What she want? What is she doing? Why she need to gossip and tell you about her miserable ass life? Why you need to hear that? I'm gonna tell you why she does that. Because you have to put that boundary up. Let me say this. I will quote it, and I will always quote who quoted it, because I don't steal people's shit. 1 second, y'all. Okay? I don't steal people's shit. And because I don't steal people's shit, I'm going to tell you who quoted this. Level Up Guru said this. She said, you need to decenter men in women. You need to decenter men in women. Quoted by the Level Up Guru. That's the hardest shit I heard a woman ever say. Because a lot of y'all decenter these men, but y'all really need to decenter these damn women in your lives. A lot of y'all don't even realize there's a woman in your life called your bestie that you have centered. And she's the center of every fucking problem that you're having and every blockage you have in your life. And I have umpteen stories about the weird bitch. I told y'all about the frenemy. Because she purposely comes into your life to get in the way. I don't give a fuck if she make it seem like she do it, what you do. If she needs to be on the phone with you every day, if she needs to be up under your energy every day, she's siphoning you. She ain't living the life that she said she is. She's monitoring you. She's being weird. That's what the fuck she's doing. She's not being an artist. And I talk to y'all like this because being around these type of weird bitches got me in the situation that it got me in. When I didn't pay attention to the weird bitch because I didn't decenter women, right? Remember, the Guru said you gotta decenter men and women. When they got all this retarded shit going on in their life and you just brush it off, that's a frequency. That's a part of you. Especially if you refer to this person as a friend, homie, whatever you calling them, that's still frequency that's there that you still orbiting with. When they got too much of that shit going on in their life, eventually the weird shit they doing, they're gonna start doing that weird shit to you. Because that's the plan all along. That's why it come in your face, because the plan is to destroy you. Nobody needs to talk to you every day like that. Nobody needs to feel some type of way because you can't pick up your phone. That's too much. When you got shit to do, you feel me? And what's real odd about these broads, I want y'all to understand too, is that she has a beautiful habit. She does it so clever because she's a master manipulator. She's very clever at making you look like a weird bitch. I call it the sit next to you theory, right? That means that the person sits next to you to make it look as if y'all are cooler friends. So what they say about you
people will believe it to be so because they like, oh, if that's their friend, then because this is how dumb these bitches are. This is how childish these bitches are. You gotta understand this. These bitches are, they're still, they're remedial. Okay? Excuse me. They're remedial. And so in this weird bitch mind, because she sits next to you, right? That qualifies her to be someone who can speak about you or speak on you. They're so remedial in the mind, they play high school, middle school games like this. That's how remedial in the mind that they are. And the thing is, as a creative spirit, as somebody who is on a mission, as someone who's doing the work that you're doing, there's really no reason for you to be associated with this person when you think about it. Like when you really think about it, you have no reason for association with this person. Like, what do they have to do with what you're doing? As a creative, they need to be doing some creative shit. They need to be painting and writing a song, playing an instrument, right? Not pretending. They need to be occupied so much that when they call you, they like, yo, I want you to hear this riff I did. Look at this painting. Look at this color. What you think about this? It should always be a conversation in that realm. It shouldn't be about they got their relationship with their boyfriend, their girlfriend. It shouldn't be about, I guess, whatever date the fuck they went on for the day. It shouldn't be about somebody who played them because he told her he eat her pussy, and then when she shaved her pussy after he said he eat her pussy, and then he still didn't eat her pussy. Why are we having this conversation? It shouldn't be none of that. That shit is distractive to your frequency. And this is why I'm saying that weird shit, you got to get rid of it. Because why are you hearing that as an artist? That don't got nothing to do with your artistry. And so this is why I say, right? And I stand on what I say. You keep yourself around those that keep themselves busy. You keep yourself around those who believe in what they do and they live it. It wakes them up and they sleep at night. Art saved their lives. These are the people you should be around. All right, number 5. Shout out to everybody listening to me. I'm crazy, but I love it. Conversation pieces. This a whole show in itself. This a whole goddamn show in itself, baby. Oh, y'all ready for this last one? Conversation pieces. Conversation pieces is what is the constant dialogue that they want to have with you every time they talk to you? Does the dialogue that they want to talk to you about align with the frequency of life that you have? Does that dialogue line up? This is where you have to be selfish as a creative. Does the only people who should be having other dialogue is the people who are the closest to you, and that should be your children, who you're married to,
who you see as your person, okay, that's the people you have that level of conversation with. But when it comes to other people, what pieces in conversations are they having with you? Like, does it get too personal and intimate? Are they trying to dig and try to get you to say some deep, dark, secret shit like we 5 years old? What exactly are they trying to manipulate out of you? And all conversation is manipulation. All conversation is manipulation. If nobody ever told you that, let me tell you. Okay? All conversation is manipulation. And if the conversation is getting too out of pocket, then you gotta move. Who the fuck is this? I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are. Okay? Now, let's get into that. You sit down, and I was talking to someone. What up, King Lover? What up? Welcome. Welcome to my world. Anytime, I'm going to put it like this. Anytime I'm talking to you. So if this happened to anybody out there who ever talked to me and you did this, then you need to know this is the reason why I fell back from you, because I'm leery like that. Anytime I talk to somebody and we're having a dialogue, right? As soon as somebody digs into something personal about you, get off that call. Get out that conversation. That's their intentions of what they're trying to, that's what they're trying to manipulate you with. See, I know how to talk to people. I am so quiet. I'm too quiet. I'm too fucking quiet. And as a quiet person in this world, I can fucking sit here and tell you, as a quiet person in this world, that even though I do need to start talking more, I do observe and analyze a lot as a quiet person. But I know how to talk to people. I do have the gift of gab. I do know how to do that. So when you are talking to me and you begin to pose some kind of intricate question, besides the fact I'm not going to answer it, I'm going to fill it out like, where the fuck did that come from? And so people who do weird shit like that, chop their ass. Just like that. Because that's the beginning of the pieces. When I say the conversation pieces, that's the beginning of the pieces in the conversation where they're going to start slowly trying to chip away at you. All conversation is manipulation. Okay? And on top of doing that, you have to also look at the environment that you're allowing people into your space. And this is where your boundaries have to come into play. This is where your major boundaries have to come into play. Okay? Now, what am I saying here? That means that you don't allow people to talk to you at night. My homies, we talk whatever. We break day. That's a different story. Because we be talking, we be having a good fucking time on that phone. We talk about tarot, numerology. We share videos with each other. That's my homies. All right? I just got to put that out there. Those my homies. That's what we do. And I'm sure we were together, we be up in the clubs dancing together. Or we be on the street somewhere, not like bums, but on the street somewhere with music bumping and dancing. That's me and my homies. Now, for those outside of that shit, they shouldn't be asking you no questions like that. They should be getting personal with you like that.
And that's what these weird bitches do. You gotta be quick with it. You gotta you gotta catch the slick mouth shit. I had a woman say to me that I was naive. I said, how the fuck am I naive? I raised myself in New York City since I was fucking 19 years old. What the fuck are you talking about, naive? And then the person talked to, but I didn't ever want to talk to them again. And they talked too much, and I did not want to talk to them again because I don't let shit like that slide. Why the fuck would you think why the fuck would you tell me that I'm naive? Out of all people, you really don't know me. You gonna call me naive? And so it's little shit like that cut people off. But I say don't get personal at all, because all conversation is manipulation. People try to get you at night. People try to get you to talk while you're comfortable. These people call you so much because they're trying to monitor your schedule to know when are you slipping so they can get in. They're weird. You're not. You're an artist. You're creative. You're an executive artist and creative. You need to be doing that. Nobody can get in. Matter of fact, have the motherfuckers send you an email if they want you. Drop them your email if they want you. That's how you have to do it when you're out here working, so that you can't have yourself penetrated like that. Let's get into the dudes. Can we get into the dudes? Yeah, let's get into them. So the dudes, this will be the last one, and I'm out of here. So the dudes, they sit here, right? And he want to slide in your DM. That he do this, that he do that, that this is the work that he do, and this is the da 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 da, and this is da 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 that he do. Right? Alright. Cool. I got something for that. The real thing is, when somebody is expressing that they are a business and they do the things that they do, they always have a public resume of people that they work with. Always. They always have a public resume of what they have completed. And you have to have a standard of that resume. Is it due by this time and this time? Is it, when was the last time they did the work? When was what was their recent project? You got to dig into all of that. I one time was in this group because I'm seriously hanging up Facebook groups as well. I'm hanging up groups, period. I seriously had a situation where I was posting and I said, I'm looking for somebody and I said the man's name as a director for me. And I saw this woman's name and energy, and she was an actor, air quote. And she said some shit like good luck or some bullshit she had said. And I wanted to come down there and tell her ass a new fucking one. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? I just blocked her. And the thing about that is, you have people that will act, that will be artists, that will be all these things. I promise you, there will be all these things. And they still do not feel like they're worth a damn. They will still things and be jealous of who you are. Let me tell you something. What is unintelligent about these people? I'm going to leave you with this. What is highly unintelligent about these people is the fact that there's so many books, there's so much wisdom, there's so much information out there, there's so much people to study. Let's get into that part. There's so much people to study, right? There's so much people who are on microphones and videos telling people how they did it. There's so many people that you can fucking take, right? And you can listen to all their interviews and you can have a whole lesson on their success story. And you mean to tell me the person who is ahead of you in the race with the resources can't figure it out? And the reason why is because what you got to understand is that je ne sais quoi that you have that they don't. That work ethic that you have that they don't. There's a lot of women, they are distracted by either a man or some stud. Their world is centered around dating and finding love. They can't keep up with what they're doing because they have to make sure that they're looked as wanted or valuable by having someone next to them. That's not what makes you valuable. You become the one for yourself. That's what makes you valuable. And you being there by yourself and working and creating and doing the shit you do, that pisses them off. And then when they get to know you behind the scenes, it pisses them off more because it's like, oh, this person is more than what they are even on the camera. And I'm here to tell you, no one needs to know who you are. Let them know you where they met you. Leave them where the fuck they met you. If they met you, you were on that fucking camera, then you remain on the fucking camera where they met you. Okay? Some people, if you met them outside somewhere, you leave their ass where the fuck you met them. Out the fuck side. And leave them there. It's going to get to a point on this path where nobody can be around you, where no one can get personal in your life, where nobody can know you. And that's where this path can get lonely. But I'm here to tell you, it's not about lonely. It's about self-preservation. It's about wisdom. It's about yourself. It ain't about being lonely. You fulfill your loneliness by all the work that you do. You're never lonely. That's why you're on a mission to do the things you do. You always got, it's like, you should see my desk right now. I got a lot to do right here. I can stay busy for a whole day, for a whole week. And I love that shit. But somebody who's occupying their time being centered around wanting to be valuable by another human being, even if they're steps ahead of you, of course they're going to hate you. Of course you're going to be seething at you. Like, you still going? You still working? I thought you was gone. Wait a minute. You single for real? They're going to be seething at all of that shit. You did all that work. They're going to be seething. That's how dumb they are. They think that you them. They think you wasting time like them. They think you wasting your life like they are. And they get mad when they see that you ain't. That you really did something with your life. Or that you really doing something with your life. These bitches will drain you These bitches will drain you with useless conversations, I promise you. These bitches will drain you with very useless ass conversations. Do I have to say it again to you? Do I have to remind you again? Let me say it again. Why am I hearing about some nigga not eating your pussy? Or some dude, and because because you didn't shave your pussy, he won't eat your pussy. But the moment that you did go and shave your pussy, he still didn't eat your pussy. Bitch, you stupid. Why am I hearing this? Why am I hearing this? What does this have to do with my painting on the wall right now? What does this have to do with this article I'm writing? What does that have to do with the chapter I just read? What does that have to do with any of this shit? And that's what the weird bitch is gonna pull you into. That's what the weird bitch, that's the world she wants to pull you into. Let me tell you something. I got so pulled into the world of a weird bitch before that I end up calling her a lot, and I end up being drained, and I couldn't even get up to do art, right? Do nothing. I just didn't have the energy for any of it. I was so exhausted from all these women. That's really what it was. And then this person gets mad at me over something I didn't do. They claimed I kept calling them and shit, and I wasn't. And they got angry. They started screaming across the screen and shit like that. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong? Something's wrong with her. The fuck is wrong with her? Then she told me to go find something to do, like I was a child. I was like, don't want to fuck with her. I'm done. And I promise you, once I cut her and the other one off, the job was laid off on. Neighbor knocked on my door. The job is back. I swear to you, the job was back. One of my oils fell to the ground and cracked. I said, what the fuck? This is my favorite fucking oil. It broke. What the fuck is going on? And then after I cleaned that up off my floor and stuff, and I was pissed. Then and I didn't even get pissed. I just looked at the energy. I was like, that's a sign. And so when that happened, that's when the call came, and then life began to unfold better than before. So this is why I stand on what I tell y'all. This is why I say to you, as the creative out there, cut that bitch off. These conversations are not important. Cut her off. When you are at the point where you are on go, you're on season 1, you're on chapter 1, you're on chapter 5, you're sitting down creating your art show, you're building a mustard seed, you're building, what's that, a seed that has never been sown. When you're creating like that, you can't have people bothering you. When you're in school and you got homework, you can't have people bothering you. When you got shit that you really gotta do, you can't have people bothering you. Do you understand what I say to you? Do you see what I say? right, I'm gonna leave it there. Hope y'all wrote some of that stuff down. I hope you received that. This has been fun. This is in the psyche of the inner city mind versus the out of town mind. I had to put it in here. Next show might more likely be a divine feminine school. Um, yeah, we're gonna. I'll find a topic to grab on. It's probably gonna be the topic of I can't do it because that's on the Patreon, but I'll find a topic, but it'll probably be a divine feminine school. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, yo. It's been fun. It's always fun with y'all. All right, y'all. Later. If y'all had questions, y'all could have just went and asked them questions, but